Thank you, everyone for coming. We'll start off with a opening statement from Coach and then take questions.
Really proud of our resilience in the second half. I know particularly in the second quarter we didn't play to the level that we would have loved, and I loved our response out of halftime. I loved how we answered the challenge every time when they made a run. I'll start by also giving credit to Sienna. They obviously scrapped and clawed and gave us everything that we could handle. So for us, we are learning and living moment by moment and loving that we have the opportunity to play tough battles going into the end of the season into the MAAC tournament. Feel like we are answering the challenge every single time.
Any questions, Coach, or the student athletes?
Yeah. Hi, Carly.
Hi.
What do the seniors mean to you? I mean, you have two of them sitting
Yeah.
next to you, two more celebrating outside. What impact have they had on this program?
I think I could probably say like 3 words in these two and I'd start crying. But to me, obviously, there's not enough words and there's not enough time to talk about how much they've meant to me just as a first-time head coach, as a person who not only loves them as basketball players, but I would argue we have so much more love and respect as people. And I built relationships with them that's, each of them is unique in their own. I mean, Iza's the grand over here that I've gotten 3 full years with, and obviously 2 with Emina, 2 with Ken, and 1 with Ray. And so all different amounts of time, but all equally as powerful in the impact that they're making on their teammates, on this program, and in this community. And we've seen it day in and day out, and just how they carry themselves. So this program's in a better place because of all of them, and they've done it in their own authentic and genuine way, which I think makes it so much more special that they're all going to have, all of their teammates will have memories of them that they could all say that they were better people because of them. So I can't thank them enough for what they've poured into our program, and I'd also say that we're not done yet.
Isa, it's been a long journey. 7 seasons, 2 ACL tears. You got your family over in the back. What does it mean to be sitting in this moment right now after all of that?
I think it's just it means the word to me. I felt like I always tell Coach Carly and other people around me, I kind of lost the love for the game, and coming to Fairfield, that's where I found the love again. So literally just sitting here, the word came to my mind when you first asked, just love. Being next to people that I love, playing the game that I love, just having my family here as well. It's just it's been so fun. And I think, with Coach Carly, when I first came in, it was hey, all 3 years I felt like I played a different role in terms of basketball, and that has just been so fun for me as well, just learning who I am as a basketball player and learning what I have to do to just play more minutes and things like that, and just keep winning. That's what I love doing, and that's what I found in Fairfield. So
Emina, what kind of emotions were you feeling tonight, given that, you are very familiar with that team on the court and obviously with the team that you have now?
Honestly, I believe it was a full circle moment. The chances of, playing my old school on senior night, I think it was just, like I said, full circle moment. But honestly, I'm just so happy I get to finish my career here at Fairfield, and the emotions were so high because, knowing that I came to a program that I just love all the people around me and everybody cares about each other. It's going to be very hard to adjust to life on the outside, not having, as I say, built-in friends, built-in sisters for life, and coaches who feel literally the best people who I know I can go to. So it's very emotional, but I know that it's not over yet. We have a few more weeks to go, and I'm looking forward to the last few weeks of the season for us.
Coach Chase Coburn, Chase's Sports News, back-to-back regular season titles here in the MAAC is such an accomplishment. You mentioned now obviously there's more to achieve with Atlantic City coming next week, and that will bring its own set of challenges, but you're up for Coach of the Year. You have the seniors next to you, the great players on this team. How have you guys been able to kind of build the foundation as a group to be able to have this kind of success back-to-back years, and particularly this year? 42 consecutive conference wins it is for you guys now.
We could probably trace that all the way back to Isa saying yes 3 years ago, her committing and the foundation that first year's team built. I mean, I could go down the line of that group, but while we, we didn't have the nets and the trophies to show for it, that group really built the foundation for what it means to be a part of a team. And how we play defense. We really dug in on the defensive end. That group
Yeah.
learned how to defend and how to have each other's backs. But I think that our standards, we talk about being selfless, tough, accountable, grateful, and that first year's team really set the tone for what that looks like. And then we have people like Isa and Nelly and Beach who stayed around, who were the continuity of that team. And so they had the opportunity with, you know, a lot of new people coming in of saying, this is how we're going to do things, and this is what it's going to look like, and how we're going to treat each other. And then you just see that bleed into the court. And so we put a premium on the person that we bring into this program, and it obviously started with this one right here, but we can go down the line of every single person who stepped on the floor for us are great people first, and then your culture really comes from there.
Why do you think these past 2 seasons and the success you guys have had and the success you're going to continue to have in Atlantic City, what do you think that says about the future of this program and where you guys could be at in 5 years, and kind of how the foundation you guys have created can maybe pave the way for a great program here at Fairfield?
We always have big goals. Every single person who becomes a Stag has big aspirations. We want aspirational people, and while we try to obviously every day live in the moment and not get too far ahead, even if you talk about next week or anything like that, we know that this is a special place, and everybody who comes here and is a part of it knows how special it is. And so we still got a lot more to do this year and beyond, but I think the only way to do that is one day at a time.
Yeah, the coach, I think you're saying, Mina, you were saying also, job's not finished.
Mm-hmm.
Quick turnaround, again, you know, another quality opponent in Quinnipiac this Saturday, and then
Yep.
Atlantic City, you know, March. A lot of these games are competitive, one-score games. How is this team going to follow this quick turnaround on such an emotional and, you know, celebratory night?
Well, we talk about it a lot of, like, you enjoy it till midnight, you enjoy the locker room, you enjoy the moments, but then we have a pretty focused group that like we said, we have big goals, and obviously there's still always a lot on the line. We have aspirations to obviously play our best basketball going into the MAAC tournament. We have aspirations of, we obviously we need to take care of business and play our best basketball there so that we can achieve an automatic bid. But we also know that this team wants to win in postseason and beyond, so doing everything that we can to set ourselves up for that, and seeding and everything that comes with that, knowing nothing's also given and we can't take that for granted either.
Coach, your 2 young studs, Katie Lambro and Megan Anderson, combined for 30 tonight. How have you seen them grow from their first year to their second year?
It's been really fun to be a part of. I'm sure these 2 can speak to it as well, but I can start with Meg. So she's someone that I joked with her coming into this game that last year playing Siena, like we put her on like the least of the scorers in the roster, and like had like Emina go and handle some of it, and Teresa Spala and all that. And she took that challenge this offseason to become a better defender. She got stronger. She was spending a ton of time in the weight room with Dave on our staff, and she held her to 0 points tonight. And obviously it wasn't a one-man job, but she took that challenge, and we can put her on somebody's best player every night, and she really has worked hard at that. And so while she scored 16 points and had 5 rebounds, but I think her growth has really been on the other end of the floor, and that's something that doesn't always show up in statistics. So I'm really proud of how she's grown. And then Katie is someone that, as her fellow point guard over here, is just, she's blossomed in her ability to control the ball, control the game. These 2 do a great job of keeping us poised, and she always has a knack for finding a big bucket when we need it.
Carly, I'm sorry I was discussing the world with your dad.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So
Checks out.
I'll have my question for Emina if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
When, coming in here, if you can sort of compare how special winning a championship, and maybe it's a more appreciation this year, and when did you realize the irony of that you could clinch the championship against Siena?
Honestly, I think I've kind of had this circled on my calendar since, the conference schedule came out. But, I found out a couple weeks ago that this can literally be like our chance to cut down the nets. And I think that's what made senior night so much more special, because, our whole team played for us as seniors, and we were locked in from the start. And I believe it just makes it so much more special when you can cut down nets on your home court with all of your fans there. And such a great crowd. So, it's memories I'll literally never forget for the rest of my life. And, I have it framed already from last year. I'm going to have a new frame this year. It's going to sit in my office for as long as I work. So, these are the memories that you cherish forever.
In the court?
Isa,
When you keep playing?
Yeah, the court.
like Isa, this year you had the target on your back, and you came through the league. What does it say about this team maturity, particularly with the adversity you guys had to deal with?
I think Nelly always say that we kind of switched that. Instead of having the target on our back, we're putting the target on other people's back. So I think just like remind yourselves that's like, yeah, we had a great season, but who cares? Like maybe our families remember, our friends remember, but nobody else remember who won the MAAC last year. So it's kind of like creating that new legacy and kind of forgetting about the past, like using the past as an experience, but kind of just like every day, like who is next, who is next, who is our next opponent. So I think just like having that energy of like no matter who we're playing, no matter if it's a MAAC game, if we're playing against Indiana again at Indiana, everybody we're playing to win every single game.
Coach, one game until Atlantic City, and this can go for any of you. Where do you guys feel about where you're at right now? Obviously, a really tough stretch coming up. You got to win a lot of games in a few days, and then if you guys are able to prevail, it's the NCAA tournament. So from here, it kind of only gets tougher. Where do you guys feel you're at right now? Do you feel confident about where you're at, and what things you're going to need to improve on to make sure you get to the NCAA tournament?
I think as far as where we're at, I love this time of year for this team in particular because we haven't, ridden anybody on our roster into the ground. We haven't asked anybody on our team to play 40 minutes a night. I feel that this is where our depth and our versatility can really take over. And I think you saw that in tonight, like in our fourth quarter of our depth and our ability to be fresh, take hold when we need it. And so, yes, there's several games in a row, but we've also earned the number one seed where we get the day off in between, which is obviously a great part of that. As far as where we need to improve, I thought tonight in particular, I think I could probably point to something different each night. But I think tonight we will probably look back at our offense and realize we left some points off the board. I was really proud of our defense for the most part, other than our rebounding. I thought we didn't rebound as well as we would have liked, but I did think we made them work for everything that they got. We closed down the paint as we knew we needed to do, and so if you had to ask me from tonight, probably rebounding and some of our ball movement and taking care of the basketball.
This question's for any of you. It seems like coming out of halftime, a new light is ignited in Fairfield. What is that X factor that separates you guys from your opponent in the second half?
I can take this one because so our strength coach, Dave Klein, he mentioned at Lifts last week that we have outscored our opponents in every single game in the second half besides our first game of the season, which was Arkansas. So I think a lot of it starts with all the work we've done in the summer with him and on the court is just our conditioning and also how deep our roster is and our bench is, and that we don't have to rely on one person to play 40 minutes every game and then their bodies beat and injuries and things like that. Like we keep ourselves healthy, but we also prepared for these moments because we are so in shape and we got into shape all summer and still continuing to get into shape during the season. So it's just continuing to outscore our opponents in the second half and continuing to put our foot on the gas.
Last question.
Yeah, this is for the players. What challenges does Quinnipiac present to you? I know last time we were in this room, the coach was really happy saying that, you guys got to go down there and beat them there. So what challenges will Quinnipiac present to you guys?
I think the first one, of course, is Raviv. She's probably by far one of the best players in the MAAC. So I think just being able to play lockdown defense on her, and that's the fun part of it. We have a lot of kids that can just like step up and stop a great player like that. So I think just the entire team kind of plays around her. So I feel like just being able to play one-on-one defense and being able to stop her, I think that's our biggest thing.
So obviously Quinnipiac has a few post players that they rotate through, and they run a lot of their offense through them, in the short corners and elbows. So making their catches tough, similar to how we did when we played them here. That kind of starts their offense, and they run through them a lot. And then also, like Isa said, Raviv. So if we can, start on defense and continuing to do what we do on the defensive end, the offensive end will come and we'll put both sides of the floor together for 40 minutes.
Good job. Glad you remembered this game.
Anybody else?
Maybe we got future coaches in their future. Coach, what do you think?
Hopefully.
Basketball minds?
After a few years, I'm coming back and coaching at Fairfield.
She's taking my job.
No, I'm coaching for her. You guys can quote that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you
guys.
Have a good night.